Hi. Before we go any further,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
So today we're going to talk about the first two of CBS's short treks, Runaway and Calypso. But first, let's talk about the concept of the short trek.
The short trek is brilliant, just plain brilliant. The concept is unlike anything that has happened in the Star Trek franchise before. Each one is basically a short film, detached almost completely from the trappings of established television tropes, pacing, structure. And the best thing about it? These stories have a chance to explore the whole of the Trek multiverse. No time period or crew or character is theoretically off limits, as we will see. It's like the Trek franchise is finally being fully unlocked for us to see the scale of the thing in its entirety. There's room in this format for stories about the birth of the Q Continuum, stories from the Cardassian occupation of Bajor, stories from the lower ranks of various famous starships, or stories that can help explain why certain bits of canon don't line up. I'm looking at you, Trill. The stars are the limit.
So I can already hear some of the more cynically minded out there saying that, hey, this is just filler. This is just an excuse for CBS All Access to exist, to force people to pay $6 a month. Not unexpected. This is the age of cynicism after all, and money's tight.
But let's be honest. When has Star Trek, or any franchise of this size, not been about making money or pushing for larger audiences? Personally, I am okay with that, because not only does it lead to more and, quite frankly, new kinds of Star Trek, but also because these short treks in particular are going to give a whole new suite of writers, directors, and performers a chance to add to the franchise.
So it's possible that not every short trek is going to work. But as we'll see, some of them are going to come together in just the right way. Now let's briefly discuss Runaway.
Looks like there's a stowaway in Discovery's shuttle bay. Whoever this is, they can cloak themselves and manipulate electronics with their mind. That's pretty handy. Is this a Predator movie?
Come on! Kill me, I'm here! Kill me!
Whoops, watch yourself. Ooh, neon blood. Even through holographic communication, Tilly's mom's judgment lands expertly across light years.
Oh, honey, look at your desktop. You're just so clearly over-caffeinated.
It's fine.
This food dispenser bot is a morning person. I knew it.
Have a glorious day.
Neon blood. Las Vegas must be nearby. Whoa, the mess hall is going haywire. Is there a chance that a ghost is haunting Discovery? Haunted by a space ghost?
I'm gonna follow him home. Kill his whole family.
Tilly, meet Mehani Ika Halika Po. Po, meet Tilly. Here, try some ice cream. Hormonal space rabbits are an understated issue affecting space travel.
There is a hormonal space rabbit.
The ladies get to know each other, their stories, and their challenges. For example, Po likes dilithium and is really smart. And Tilly? Well, she's turning into her mother.
You come back this instant, young lady! I'm turning into my mother.
After a good discussion and a self-esteem boost for both of them, Tilly helps Po beam back home. How far away is she beaming to?
So all in all, there are some things to like about this. For one, it's always great to see Mary Wiseman on screen, but overall, the story feels rushed with too much packed inside.
We learn about Tilly's anxiety over the command training program, and we get to meet Tilly's mother. Sort of. We see Tilly make a new, life-affirming friend in Po, But the story feels so rushed that it mutes the effect this new friendship could have on the viewer, and more importantly, reduces the encounter's impact on the characters. Having this episode last longer than just 15 minutes might have given the characters the dramatic space to be believably affected by what's happening. Instead, it's like someone sucked the B story out of a typical Star Trek episode and let it stand on its own. You know the typical Star Trek B story, right? Story A is the main plot, the meat of the episode. Story B is a little side tale that involves more modest stakes. But as far as this short trek is concerned, the stakes with Poe come across as modest and one-off. Only Tilly's decision to stick with the command training program seems likely to impact the main plot of Discovery next season.
It seems so short, one might suspect that there's more to it. Maybe, just maybe, this is some kind of setup for Season 2? That maybe the planet Zahia has some kind of bearing on Season 2 of Discovery.
Other questions also present themselves that, perhaps, wouldn't be factors in a normal-length episode. Will Tilly get in trouble if she doesn't alert someone that there's an intruder aboard? Can just anyone walk up and use the transporter? Even if Tilly has access, wouldn't using it leave some kind of record? And just where is Poe beaming to? Doesn't Discovery have to be near a planet or a ship in order for the transporter to work? Did Tilly make a new friend and then beam her into the cold blackness of space?
And what do we learn about the Star Trek multiverse from this, besides that the planet Zahia is located in the state of Hawaii?
Hard to say. With the episode being so short, there's very little time for world building. Queen Poe has apparently devised a way to reconstitute dilithium crystals, a critical component of warp drive technology. The Federation cannot exactly do this in the 23rd century, but they can by the 24th century. So perhaps planet Zahia plays a role in expanding this technology. And just what does this mean?
Zahians were born with our planet.
That means that you and your planet are...
Twins. Born at the same time. Grew up at the same time.
Okay. Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
So, that was Runaway. Now let's take a look at the second short trek, Calypso.
The first thing we see is an old Betty Boop cartoon, which means that Betty Boop is now canon. Cool? The dude wakes up alone in Discovery's sickbay, apparently surprised at his circumstances. Interesting tattoo. Great. The ship is haunted again. Damn space ghosts.
No lawyer's gonna tell Space Ghost what to do.
Kraft just realized he's kinda hot. Turns out the USS Discovery is sentient and quite alone. Meet Zora, the computer. Kraft discusses the media tastes of his enemy, the Vidraish. Apparently, they like Betty Boop.
How long you been out here, alone?
Almost 1,000 years.
What? It's the 33rd century now? Whoa. We learn that Kraft is a reluctant soldier, separated from his family for 10 years. Now this is how you watch a movie. Not only is Discovery sentient, but she's a romantic too. That's nice. Kraft and Zora get to know each other and prepare to dance. You ever dance with the main computer in the pale starlight? Uh-oh, too close. It's not cheating if it's with a computer, Kraft. Kraft and Zora say their goodbyes. Zora remains alone, in space, forever.
Update complete.
Okay, so that was great. Seriously.
Like with Runaway, this short trek did feel a bit too short. But unlike with Runaway, Calypso's length didn't feel like it forced the story to progress too quickly, but only left you with a bunch of tantalizing questions about the state of the galaxy in the 33rd century. Performances by Ali Hodge and Annabelle Wallace were very good. So good that you wanted to follow each character to see what was going to happen to them after it was over. Frankly, we can find nothing to fault with Calypso, except, as others have noted, that the story has a little bit too much in common with a certain Pixar film. But Calypso is exactly the kind of thing we hoped for when we heard about the Short Treks format. Exactly the kind of thing we'd want out of a hypothetical Star Trek anthology series. It has excellent production values and a very cool story considering the size of this episode. Just look at the lighting and sound design in the mess hall when Kraft is describing his home world. That's pretty fantastic.
You're a good woman. Always doing nice things for me.
Turning toward the past for a moment, it's worth noting the influence of ancient mythology in this episode.
The two names of the human character, Quarrel and Kraft, might just be references to the Odyssey. That's right, the ancient epic poem. First, because Odysseus, the Greek epic poem's hero, is often described as crafty, but also because Odysseus sometimes didn't give his real name. And like Odysseus, Kraft has been away from home for 10 years on account of war and has been diverted by unusual circumstances. Plus, memories of his wife and child get him back on his way. It's also worth noting that Kraft's tattoo is of a one-eyed owl, a cyclops. Neat. The cyclops is an enemy Odysseus defeated, and the owl? A symbol of Athena, the goddess who often helped Odysseus on his journey. The name of the episode is also a reference to the Odyssey. Calypso was a minor goddess who lived alone on an island. Near the end of his journey, Odysseus washed up on her shores and stayed with her for 3 years. Despite the fact that Calypso wanted to marry him and make him immortal, he chose to leave. There's a parallel to Kraft and Zora here, right? Speaking of the ship's computer, the name Zora might also be a reference, this time in Slavic mythology, to the dual goddesses Zora the Morning Star and Zora the Evening Star, who together watched over the Doomsday Hound. The Hound was chained to a star in the constellation Ursa Minor. In the constellation Ursa Major, there is a star named Alcor. Kraft's homeworld is called Alcor 4. Coincidence? No way. Mythological reference.
Now let's talk about what this short trek means for the Star Trek multiverse as a whole, starting with the Vidraish.
It is mentioned that Kraft has been involved in a war against the Vidraish for 10 years. Would it be of interest to know that Vidraish is a distorted version of the word Federation? This was revealed online by one of the writers. So that means that Kraft's people, a bunch of humans on Alcor 4, are in a war against whatever remains of the United Federation of Planets. Now that's an interesting bit of world building, which prompts several questions, most notably, what happened to the Federation? And what happened to the crew of Discovery? How did the ship's computer become sentient? Has Discovery really been parked there for 1,000 years? Zora says she is just following orders, so how in the world did that become a necessity? There are so many questions. I suspect that both Calypso and Runaway are setups for Discovery's Season 2. At least, I hope they are. If that is true for Calypso, then maybe at some point in Season 2, it will become necessary to park Discovery and let the ship sit for 1,000 years. Will there be some kind of crazy time travel component? Does the crew of Discovery do this to ensure they'll have a ship waiting for them when they arrive in the distant future? Boy, I'd love to see that.
At any rate, these are our impressions of these first two short treks. Thank you for watching.
Your response to our fundraising goal has been awesome. We are almost there, too. If you'd like to see more Trexpertise in the multiverse, then consider chipping in. Help us hire a second editor and double the channel's output. You can do this by supporting us over on Patreon. Patreon is really the best way to help create more Trexpertise. At only $1 to $2 per month, you can help put us over the edge. Link in the subspace below. As always, subscribe, turn on notifications, or sign up for our no-nonsense email list if you'd like to be notified when the next video is uploaded. And do check out the brand new podcast, WikiSurfer, put together by Brandon Phibbs and myself, Kyle Sullivan. WikiSurfer is an experiment in podcast storytelling. New episodes go up every other Monday. Give it a whirl. We think you'll like it. All relevant links are in the subspace below. Thank you for watching. See you soon.
遠い将来を考えてみようよ。